I'm Ray Barry, and this is the Audio Wave Cafe podcast. On this episode, my guest is sax player and author John Barrow. First, I talk about a new code of conduct coming out in the UK in 2023, aiming to combat racism in music. And I'll be shining a spotlight on 60s pop star Shannon and his Coventry connection. I'll also be playing Daylight by the Fun Lovin Criminals with John Barrow on sax. Moving on. Let's go! Following on from a previous podcast topic where I talked about a report published by the Black Lives in Music organisation that found evidence of systemic racism in the UK music industry, a new code of conduct to combat this problem is being rolled out in 2023. Chief Executive Charisse Beaumont said, "The music industry is like the Wild West. There is no central place to report bad behaviour." And she's right. The music industry in the UK has never been accountable to any government department or organisation. The Code of Conduct has the backing of the Independent Standards Authority, which, quote, will be able to provide accountability and advice to the creative industries to improve standards of behaviour. We can only hope it will be effective and make record companies and associated businesses commit to safe working environments for all staff. But will the Code of Conduct be able to penalise errant companies or individuals who will not implement it? After George Floyd's murder in 2020, many record labels, publishers and promotion companies on both sides of the Atlantic pledged to bring in anti-racist plans and procedures, but hardly anything meaningful came of it. So will those organisations be made to take effective action? Will this code of conduct actually help those who experience racism in many forms, from lack of promotion opportunities to racist jokes? Will those who feel they should complain do so, or just back down because of fear of losing their jobs or prospects, which is a fear for employees in many other industries? No doubt fighting racism in all its forms is an ongoing process, but this code of conduct for the music industry is a start. And that has been a very long time coming. My guest today is John Barrow, sax player and author. He's probably best remembered for being co-founder of 80s band The Swinging Laurels. He's also recorded and toured with many top acts, including Iggy Pop, The Specials and The Clash. He's written a book titled How Not to Make It in the Pop World, Diary of an Almost Has-Been. I know all about that. John, thanks so much for joining me on this call.
No problem, Ray. It's lovely to be here. Thanks for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. And we've also got a guest here who you know very well, John Hewitt, sitting in the background, looking cool.
Stumpy.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Has a certain ring to it, don't you think?
I don't know quite what it means, though.
No. John, what inspired you to take up the saxophone?
The main reason was I always wanted to be in a band. My dad was a singer on the Leicester clubs back in the late 50s, early 60s. And he took me to a load of the shows that he did. But the thing that really galvanised me was the first time I saw Roxy Music at Leicester de Montfort Hall in 1972. It was really seeing Andy Mackay on sax. I was just totally blown away and, well, smitten, I'd say. And, I determined from that day on that I wanted a bit of that coolness. Don't know whether I really ever got there, but...
He was a cool sax player, no doubt.
Still doing it, isn't he? Bless him. Yeah, it's stunning.
John, you joined your first band in 1975, a soul-funk outfit called Sister Big Stuff. Did you find it an enjoyable learning experience?
It was great. It was exactly what I needed, because I was just 20 years old and I was totally green. And the only reason they had me is because no one else applied. But they did good gigs. They were sort of semi-pro and they were doing air bases and nightclubs. And I was with them for about 18 months, a couple of years. But it was a great step up for me because it gave me an insight of how the workings of bands and touring and all the rest. And we did actually support a few chart bands, albeit they were probably past the sell-by date then. foundations, Edison Lighthouse we supported. There were mainly air bases we did a lot of, American air bases, which were great. It just gave me, it pointed the way forward in many ways for me.
Great stuff. In your book, you say that in July 1977, a strange turn of events changed your life completely. What was that?
Oh, you're talking about the albatross around my neck.
Yeah, I am.
We were in a band called Fascination, and we had an agent. It was based just over the road from Dingwalls, funnily enough, Dingbat agency. We were doing good gigs, we're a good band, soul and funk again. And the agent noticed that there was a record getting played on the radio, and it was at the basement end of the charts. And he suspected that it was like a session man affair. And he checked into it, and he was totally right. So they auditioned us, and we got the job to become Black Gorilla. It was contentious at the time because half the band were dead against it because it was a bit of a novelty thing. Well, a lot of a novelty thing. But it did eventually make the top 30, and we got to do Top of the Pops and all the rest of it. So it was exciting. So I was still only 22 then, but I cringe. I heard it the other day. I heard it in a pub the other day, and I thought, what masochist has put this on?
Hey, I've seen it on YouTube.
Oh, say no more. I nearly choked on Miss Stella, honestly. It was awful.
But all I'll say is you look cool.
Bless you. What, in those trousers?
That's what I mean. After Black Gorilla broke up 2 years later, your sax playing skills featured on single releases by several bands. Must have been an exciting time for you.
It was, yeah. It was the 78, 79, the post-punk new wave era. I think the fact that I'd been on Top of the Pops, sort of helped, and people thought it was cool to get me to play on stuff. But I don't know whether I agree with that. But it was an exciting time. As John said, I got to play with the Sinatras. They were doing quite well. We did a Peel session, singles with the Pneumatics. Got to play with a few two-tone acts as well with the Pneumatics. Good band, good times.
In 1980, you co-founded Swinging Laurels with Gaz Birtles. What led up to you signing a record contract with Albion Records?
Well, that came on the back of the Pneumatics. Gaz was singing with the Pneumatics at the time, and he was a bit disillusioned. And we talked for a while about doing something experimental. But we were running both vocals and sax, and we only had one keyboard, a mono synth. So we got together and we did a demo at Woodbine in Leamington, and we sent it to a number of record labels, and they all turned us down except one called Dead Good, who were based in Lincoln. We recorded a single with them, but it never got released. But the guys there promised that they'd get us another deal, and eventually they got us a deal with Albion, who are based in London, and it was great. It was a one-off deal, which is all we needed, really, because we just wanted a leg up. But they had some decent chart acts. They had Hazel O'Connor, 999, Joe Jackson, and they were the main guy there was a Welsh guy called Di Davis, and he'd been David Bowie's PA guy during the Main Man days, during the Ziggy days. We were dead excited to sign to them,
Excellent. I've listened to your debut single, Peace of Mind, on YouTube. It's a good track. Was it a success for you?
Yeah, for a debut release, it did really well. It got to number one in the early indie charts. It got us our first Radio 1 airplay with John Peel and Annie Nightingale. And we were also picking up airplay in the States on the college circuit. So it did the job, really. It sort of like gave us a platform to look for a major label deal. So all in all, yeah, it did exactly what we really wanted it to do.
In 1982, the Swinging Laurels signed to major label Weir Records. Rodeo was the first single. That must have been an amazing time for the band.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when we signed to them, I mean, it's like when you sign to someone like Warner Brothers or John will tell you with his, I think, CBS days, you sign to a major label and you actually think, right, well, this is it, you know. They were telling us that Rodeo was going to be top 20 and it was getting rotational Radio 1 play. But it didn't chart, you know. This is quite a shock, really. It was, you know, because we'd sort of like been led to believe that this was the way forward. It did really well, but it didn't chart.
So there was no financial success. You didn't earn much money out of it.
Do you ever make any money out of this game?
Well, John's still picking up royalties, so...
Well, John's a proper star.
I'm just a drummer.
Yeah, it's just a drummer. Yeah. What was your connection with Coventry band Team 23?
The Coventry thing was really strange. I ended up working with a lot of Coventry bands. I don't know why that was, but I got a call one day from the manager. I can't remember his name, forgive me.
Dave Chalmers.
Yeah, I think your brass section had flown the coop, hadn't they? And you were left in the lurch a bit.
They fell out with your own. Well, they fell out with everybody, I think.
I think you got a couple of gigs that you really wanted. Well, I know you got the Dingwalls gig penciled in, and it was weird because we must have learned about, I don't know, 20, 25 songs in 2 weeks, and we only ever did 2 gigs with you.
It's mad, wasn't it? And they were really, really good gigs.
Great days. But the Coventry thing for me was that right through my career, you know, with Rhoda and Funboy 3 and Jerry Dammers, it's like really strange that I'd worked with so many Coventry guys, you know, being from Leicester, but great times nevertheless.
In 1983, the Swinging Laurels formed their own record label, Happy Records. Why was that?
Well, Warner's dumped us after a couple of singles. There was a shift in the management, the A&R structure, and the new guy, it was patently obvious that he wasn't really into the band. The second single, they seemed to under-promote it. We were touring with Culture Club at the time, so doing high-profile gigs, you know, Hammersmith Odeon, etc. So when they let us go, Polydor offered us a deal, but it was really restrictive, and we decided not to go with it. So as a lot of people were doing then, we said, look, we'll do it ourselves. We'll form our own label. We'll get back artistic control because I don't know whether John experienced this, but with CBS, but Warner's sort of like wanted us to be a 3-minute pop band, and they smoothed all the rough edges off over time. But they were telling us what to wear more or less, and it really got to us in the end. So we thought that by having our own label identity, we may be able to gain some artistic control and do what we wanted, even if it didn't come with this, you know, commercial success.
Over the years, you've played on so many tracks, and many of those by top artists. Looking back, are there any standout, memorable moments?
I think the Funboy 3 single, that was great for us because it really opened a lot of doors. In fact, that helped us get the Warner Brothers deal, and it got us back on Top of the Pops and the Cheggers and all the rest of the Saturday Superstore and all the rest of it. Iggy Pop, I loved doing that. Sinead O'Connor, Ali Campbell. I enjoyed playing on the last Fun Lovin Criminals single. That was great. They're all really a happy accident.
In 2004, you had your book published, How Not to Make It in the Pop World. Why did you write it?
Well, it's something that I'd always wanted to do. It was something that I had at the back of my mind. And what I was doing, I was quite an avid collector. And I see John has got his scrapbook there.
Yep.
I kept ticket stubs and all the rest of it. And also on the road stories and, you know, anecdotes. I thought one day I'm going to write this down. And so I started to do it. It took me quite a while. It took me a couple of years to get it together. But it was always something that I had at the back of my mind, you know.
In the foreword of the book, Frank Bembini wrote, John Barrow is truly a gentleman in a business full of snakes. Did you meet many snakes?
Oh, yes. And well, I bet John could concur there. You know, it's agents, promoters, industry insiders, even the music press. you know, they lionize you, they build you up, and then only to knock you down. As I said in the book, I think the industry is 10% exhilaration, 90% disappointment.
It's true, yeah.
But it's wonderful. I love it to bits. But there are a lot of vipers out there, without a doubt.
I read your book, and John is in the middle of reading your book.
Page 81 I'm on, John.
Thank you.
Being an ex-musician, I can relate to a lot of the stuff in there. You know, like fly posting and siphoning petrol. I did a lot of that back in the day, just to get to gigs, and vans breaking down.
It makes you wonder why we do it, doesn't it? I mean, I wouldn't change a thing, but you know, there were some really, really tough times.
Absolutely. And John would attest to that as well. You've been through a lot of hard times on your way up to the top.
Yeah, loads of sharing vans and everything, and taking the seats out of vans and put them back in 3 o'clock in the morning. Things like that.
All days when you had to shift the gear yourself on a freezing cold night in Glasgow. Character building, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
That's why I'm a twisted old fruit today.
John, where can people buy the book?
Pretty much anywhere. It's Amazon, Google, it's on Kindle, Barnes & Noble, Apple. Most online book platforms have got it.
Are there any up-and-coming projects in 2023?
Yeah, I've got 2 or 3 albums that I played on, just like guesting. I did a few tracks on an album by Kenton Hall and the Necessary Measures. It's the 3 vinyl album project and a CD project. I've got a Swinging Laurels single coming out, hopefully. That was put back because of the COVID thing. And I've done tracks for a band called the Evil Genius Organisation. They're a dark band.
It's not heavy metal, is it, or goth?
No. It's really, really creative stuff, but it's on the darker side. It's not metal. It's more. There's a lot of ambient stuff, but it's it's on the out there sort of fringes. But I loved it. I love working with them. Great.
Well, that sounds interesting. Something I'd like to hear.
I'll send you a link.
Thank you, John. It's been an absolute pleasure having you as my guest.
Thank you.
And thanks to John Hewitt in the background.
Yeah, great to speak to you again, John.
And you, John, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll not have to leave it another 40 years, but...
I'm only up the road.
Yeah, I'll have to get out and come and see Soul Junction, and we'll have a bit of boogie.
Thank you, John.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
You're welcome. Charles Whedon Westover, better known as Del Shannon, was an American singer-songwriter who shot to fame in the early 60s. One night he was performing in a club as Charlie Johnson in the Big Little Show band when a local DJ spotted him, who then managed to secure a recording contract with Big Top Records. The first single, Runaway, co-written by Del and Max Crook, was released in February 1961. It reached number 1 in the UK and America and was a hit around the world. He went on to have more hits, especially in the UK, like Hey Little Girl, Little Town Flirt and Keep Searching. He toured the UK in the 60s with top British acts of the period, like Herman's Hermits and Wayne Fontana. It was in the 70s when Murray Mackenzie from Coventry started his own promotions agency, Scott Mackenzie Associates, who was instrumental in bringing over a number of American acts to tour the UK, one being Del Shannon. I apologise for any lapses of memory, but from what I recall, Del Shannon used Coventry's own Smacky as his backing band in the mid-70s. My connection with Del Shannon was when I was invited to bring my reel-to-reel tape recorder and microphones to a venue on the edge of Leamington or Warwick. Del Shannon wanted the gig recorded. Instead of hiring the Rolling Stones mobile studio, he went really cheap and got me and a couple of other people with recorders. When I did meet him, he was very friendly and we talked briefly. Then it was time for the show. I did get to see his itinerary. He was in the UK for 2 months and he was playing about 5 shows a week. What he was earning was listed too, £400 a gig. So that makes it about £16,000. I didn't find out how much the band received, but I was told for the tour he was staying mostly at the lead guitarist's house in Stoke, Coventry, so his expenses were pretty minimal. Then after the tour I guess he made his way back to his California mansion in Beverly Hills. Dale Shannon suffered from extreme mood swings all his life and turned to alcohol when he found success difficult to cope with. In the 80s he became depressed as he couldn't accept his fame had waned, and so in February 1990 committed suicide at his home in Santa Clarita, California. He was 55 years old. Coming up is a track recorded by the Fun Lovin Criminals, written by Bobby Womack and Harold Payne, with Huey Morgan lead vocals and guitar, Brian Lyser keyboards, bass, trumpet and backing vocals, Frank Bambini drums and backing vocals, Rowetta vocals and John Barrow sax. The track was mixed by Tim Latham in New York. Daylight.
Well, I swore to myself time and time and time again I would give up all my late nights and I would start lying in. But you know it ain't easy. Say no, no, no to all your friends, 'cause the wheel said don't get started till everybody else is in.
Just like daylight, it's gonna catch me up again. Daylight, and I'm just getting in. Well, I've done it again, but this is the only time you give me daylight.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. This place here is really jumping. I seen right over in the corner this big hero with my man Fisky, with a lot of pretty girls still dancing. I see happy faces and happy feet. You know we are not in a hurry to get out on that cold, cold street.
It's just like daylight, it's gonna catch me up again. Daylight, and I'm just getting in. Well, I've done it again, but this is the only time you give me daylight.
Myself time and time and time again I would give up all my late nights and start lying in. But you know it ain't easy. No, no. Saying no to all your friends, not when the wheels said don't get started till everybody else is in.
Like daylight, it's gonna catch me up again. Daylight, and I'm just getting in. Well, I've done it again, but this is the only time
I can unwind. Yeah.
That was Daylight by the Fun Lovin Criminals. Thanks again to my guest John Barrow. On the next episode, my guests will be 3 members of Soul Junction, a soul band based in the Midlands, and all crammed into my little music room. That was cosy. I also talk about the power of music to heal, and I shine a spotlight on Northern Soul. I think that's it. Yeah, I'm done. Till next time.